Stephen, thank you for that. So voters are going to be at the polls in just about 45 minutes, actually, as they open up. And that's going to be for the Texas Senate primary runoff. Republicans in Washington warn that Cornyn's loss could be a gift to Democrats who could potentially beat Paxton in November.
To talk about all of this, we have Scripps News Group senior congressional correspondent Nate Reed. He joins us live now. Hey, Nate, so how could Cornyn's loss actually hurt President Trump's agenda in Congress?
Hey, good morning, Brian and Michelle. Well, I want to leap through the camera right now. Election day might be my favorite day all across the board. Doesn't matter what election, doesn't matter where it is, but this is a really, really big one today in Texas. Senator John Cornyn, incumbent Republican, first elected all the way back in 2002. He is in the fight for his political life today against the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Now, major questions about whether Cornyn could pull this thing off. He, in pretty much every single poll recently, is down to Ken Paxton. Furthermore, President Donald Trump weighing into this race at the 11th hour and 30 minutes last week, saying that he is endorsing Ken Paxton in this primary runoff. Now, there's a lot of questions about what the impact could be if Ken Paxton, in fact, wins. Now, for one, there's a whole host of Senate Republicans who do not like him. Senator Susan Collins, the Republican from Maine, calling him ethically challenged last week. A lot of concerns among the Senate Republican conference when President Trump made that decision to endorse Ken Paxton. Questions about whether Ken Paxton can even win in the general election, but also the revolt that we saw underway at the end of last week from Senate Republicans after President Trump made that fateful decision to endorse Ken Paxton. We saw Senate Republicans pretty much an all-out feud with the White House. Major concerns over President Trump's weaponization fund and a refusal from Senate Republicans to advance a bill that would send $70+ billion to ICE and Border Patrol, something that seemed like a slam dunk in the days leading up to that decision to endorse Ken Paxton. This could lead to a serious revolt from Senate Republicans. It could make Senate Republicans largely ungovernable by President Trump for much of the next 7 months or so until the next Congress, the 120th Congress. So major questions about, first of all, whether Ken Paxton will win the primary today, which, again, polls seem to show he's favored to do, but also the questions that could have down the line, guys. There's the question of if Ken Paxton wins, could that be something that could be a gift to Democrats come November? Democrats feel very good about their Democratic nominee, James Tallarico, the Democratic state senator. There's a lot of questions about whether he could potentially win in a race against Ken Paxton if there are Republican voters that might just stay home rather than vote for Ken Paxton. Seem like less of a calculation if John Cornyn was the nominee, at least according to Republicans here in Washington. So as you prepare to vote, just remember President Trump's agenda could be on the line in this election. And, of course, major questions about which direction things go. And I just want to reiterate one more time, Hoffmans, I would jump through this camera to come to Texas today and cover this race. This is an absolutely fascinating one, a total nail-biter to the very end, and obviously very real-world effects here in Washington, depending on what happens in the Lone Star State today. You know I will be watching. I have to be up early again tomorrow, but something tells me I'm going to be up to see the result here.
Well, we so appreciate you for covering this and breaking this down thoroughly for us. Thank you so much, Nate.
Yeah, I share your enthusiasm, sir. If you do happen to make it down here in Texas, we owe you lunch. Looking forward to talking again very soon.
I've got a couple hours.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, sir.